So again, before we start, make sure that you have liked our video. Those people who are watching us on YouTube, please do like our video. We're still waiting for half the number of people to like us on YouTube. Okay, again, please do like our video if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook, then please react to our video, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends so that we may be able to also help your friends pass the let. Ma'am Jamela Noor, maraming salamat po for starting a watch party. Good evening po sa inyong lahat na nandyan, nanonood sa atin sa Facebook. Maraming salamat po. Again, please do react to our video and share our video so that we can reach out to more people just like you. They can also review with Gurong Pinoy. Okay, maraming salamat po. I would like to greet my good friend, Sir Michael Lyson Mones. He was my classmate in the University of the Philippines High School in Iloilo. Maraming salamat for tuning in. Sa lahat ng mga taga-UP dyan, hello po. Good evening. Thank you, Mike, for watching. Sir Adolfo Pimentel Mari, good evening. Thank you po for starting a watch party. Ma'am Eileen Odad, maraming salamat for watching. She used to be our student, of course, now a licensed professional teacher. She is a TLE major. Sir Monji Mohammed, thank you po for sharing our video. Now we start with general education. If you're done liking this video on YouTube, reacting to this video, sharing our video, we start with question number 1. Hey, number 1 here, this is literature. Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind. The stanza expresses blank. Is it letter A, hope, letter B, loss, letter C, despair, or letter D, grief? What's your answer for number 1? Hello sa lahat ng mga taga Cagayan de Oro. That's coming from Ma'am Jean Marie Bohos, Austria. Hello from Bukidnon, Sir Joseph Gulia Concha. Good evening po. Now, a lot of you are answering letter A from Antipolo City. Of course, we have Ma'am Tin Acabo of Team YouTube watching from Labrador, Pangasinan, Ma'am Chufil Matre. Bago yata si Ma'am Chufil. All right, now many of you are answering letter A, hope. Now, as you can see, if you are trying to check our choices here, no? Halos lahat ng ating mga choices, letter B, C, and D are all negative concepts, no? So negative sila, negative feelings, loss, despair, grief. The only positive thing here, of course, is hope, and that is the correct answer. So letter A po, that would be the correct answer. Okay, so letter A is the answer for number 1. Now, this is from William Wordsworth's Ode to Imitations of Immortality, the classic example of the beauty of the mind, and it talks of the loss of innocence and the desire to return to a childhood-like state. This particular stanza, the one that we had in our question, urges the human being to look beyond the loss and grievances of life and realize that the radiance, which may be one's happy years, lost love, high school memories, deceased loved ones, will eventually be taken from our sight. Rather than grieve, find the strength to remain faithful and mindful of what still remains with you. Okay, so again, that was from William Wordsworth's Ode to Imitations of Immortality. So again, sabi ng ating stanza, rather than grieving for the loss of everything that you have, for the innocence that you've lost, your happy years, the lost love, yung mga first love natin na iniwan tayo, no? So first love mo na you have lost, your high school memories, ang sarap balik-balikan, your deceased loved ones, of course, yung mga mahal natin sa buhay na maalam na, rather than grieving for the loss, all you need to do, again, is to find strength, to remain faithful, mindful, and to have hope. Okay, so to have hope in your heart. So that is the correct answer. That's letter A, hope. Sir Kevin Caro, watching from South Cotabato, maraming salamat po. Sir Glixel John, hello. He is, of course, one of our LET passers. Hello, Sir Glixel. He's also a TLE major. So, of course, now a licensed professional teacher. Now we go to question number 2. She is known for the love sonnets that she wrote. This is still in literature. This is Philippine literature. Watching from Talisayan, Albuera, Leyte, Ma'am Tita Bantasan, good evening po. First love never dies, sabi ni Christine Acabo, ni Ma'am Tin. Okay, naaalala niyo pa ba yung inyong first love, no? Sa sarap balik-balikan. Lahat ng firsts, no? Okay, now some of you are answering letter B dito sa ating Facebook. Good evening po sa inyong lahat. Ganun din sa ating YouTube. Team YouTube is also answering the letter B. Letter B din ang answer ng ating Team YouTube. Watching from Malibay, Pasay City. Sir Vidolo Baig. Welcome back, sir. Salute daw sa lahat ng mga frontliners natin. That's coming from Ma'am Maylene Pontillas. Maraming salamat, of course, to all our frontliners. Okay, and then of course the correct answer here, a lot of you are answering letter B in both teams. The correct answer, of course, should be letter B. That's Ma'am Ophelia de Malanta. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide for our discussion. So this is Ophelia Alcantara de Malanta. These are on this side here. You can see some of her works. No, so these are some of the things that she has published, and on at the center here, you see all the awards that she has received. So she has received in 1968 the Poet and Critic Best Poem Award from Iowa State University, Palanca Awards, Fernando Maria Guerrero Award. Okay, as a lot of other awards here. One of the highest awards that she has received was the Sea Right Award, Southeast Asia Right Award from King Bhumibol of Thailand. Okay, so she also has Parangal Hagbong from UST in 2008. All right, so again, the correct answer there was letter B, Ophelia de Malanta. That's the correct answer. Now, these are the rest of our choices. This is Edius Tiempo, celebrated poet, fictionist, teacher, literary critic, and she was born in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya. Together with her husband, Edelberto K. Tiempo, she founded the Silliman National Writers Workshop. In recognition of her literary excellence and contributions, she became the first woman national artist for literature in 1999. Okay, so again, national artist for literature. The first woman was Ma'am Edith Tiempo. Now, this is Ma'am Paz Marquez Benitez. She was the one who was the writer of Dead Stars, the first successful short story written in English by a Filipino. This, of course, was published in the Philippine Herald. Now, this, of course, marked the maturity of the Filipino as a writer in English. The character there, of course, symbolized the new Filipina educated by the Americans. Now, again, if you're a member of GROW, all the slides can be found there right after this discussion. So you don't need to take note of any of the stuff that you have there. Now, the last one that we have, of course, that's Ma'am Hilda Cordero Fernando, a Filipino writer, visual artist, fashion designer, and publisher. And of course, we know her to also be a feminist. So she has said in one of her works, The Visitation of the Gods, she said it was ironic that even in education, you found the highest and the meanest forms of men. So medyo bitter si ma'am sa mga lalaki, no? Sa mga kalalakihan. She's a feminist. But of course, the correct answer there was Edith Tiempo. Our answer again was letter B pala, sorry. Okay, so again, for number 2, letter B is the correct answer. Now we go to number 3. What figure of speech is present in this line of the poem? The brook, the second time, it was a tiny snake. Is it letter A, simile? Letter B, metaphor? Letter C, personification? Letter D, apostrophe? Watching from Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay, that's Sir Adolfo Pimentel Mari. Good evening po. First time to join from Orbis, Tondo, Pangasinan. I-welcome nyo naman, Team YouTube. We have Ma'am Grazel Ballesteros. Welcome po sa Team YouTube. Mababait po yung mga nasa Team YouTube natin. Hindi po sila nangangagat. Okay, number 3. A lot of you, of course, are answering letter B, metaphor. Sa ating Team YouTube, ganun din, letter B, metaphor. Watching from Tungawan, Zamboanga, Sibugay, Ma'am Regina Timbang. Good evening. Okay, the correct answer, of course, would be letter B, metaphor. Now, you remember simile and metaphor are very much very similar, no? Yung simile mo and metaphor, they're very similar. The difference is that your simile, this is comparing two persons, two things, but of course, it is using the terms like and as. Your metaphor does not use the terms like and as. Personification, of course, you are giving in inanimate object human-like characteristics. Okay, so that's personification. Of course, apostrophe. This is pagtawag in Filipino. You are calling someone, you are mentioning someone who's not around, something or someone that is not around. If you still have not watched our video on this, we have a video on the different figures of speech with translations in Filipino and with examples. I recommend or I suggest that you write a reminder on your notebook maybe that you need to watch that video. Again, we already have a video for our figures of speech with examples and of course with Filipino translations. Okay, so again for number 3, that's letter B. We go to number 4, a description on a gravestone or a short poem in memory of a deceased person is called A or an, letter A maxim, letter B epitaph, letter C motto, or letter D couplet. What's your answer for number 4? Watching from Pagadian City, Zamboanga del Sur, Sir Robert Baldado. Ma'am Roselia Ocampo, maraming salamat for starting a watch party. Ganun din kay Ma'am Maulana Dalidigan Ramla. Thank you. All right, now what's your answer for number 4? Sir Francis Deason, maraming salamat po for starting a watch party. Now, a lot of you on Team Facebook are answering letter B. Now, dito din sa ating Team YouTube, marami ding nag-a-answer ng letter B. Okay, so again, number 4 natin, a description on a gravestone or a short poem in memory of a deceased person is called, that would be letter B, epitaph. That's the correct answer. Ang dami yatang tama. No? Welcome sa mga baguhan. That's from Sir Joseph Concha. Okay, so again, for number 4, letter B is the correct answer. When you say maxim, this is only a saying. Okay, so saying lamang ito maxim. Ang motto mo naman, of course, you all know this. There's a motto. Your motto in life is time is gold. For example, couplet naman, these are 2 lines in a poem. So the correct answer, of course, would be letter B, epitaph. Now, these are a few very interesting epitaph that we have as our example. No? So, yung una dito, sabi ng kanyang epitaph, yung kumbaga yung epitaph mo, that's a short poem or something that's written on your tombstone or your gravestone. So, sabi dito, I told you I was sick. Okay, so kaya nga siya namatay dahil sick siya. And meron din tayo dito, here lies good old Fred, a great big rock fell on his head. So that means namatay siya dahil nahulugan siya ng bato, no? And here lies Henry Blake, he stepped on the gas instead of the brake. So that means nagka-vehicular accident naman itong si Henry Blake. So these are some examples of your epitaphs as found in your gravestones. Now we go to question number 5. What is a repetition of similar sounds, usually consonants, in a group of words like doubting, dreaming, dream, no mortal ever dared to dream before? Is it letter A, rhyme, letter B, rhythm, letter C, alliteration, or letter D, onomatopoeia? What's your answer for number 5? Good evening po sa lahat. Watching from Pangasinan, Ma'am Santos Macarana Shairel. Sir Arman Apig, good evening. Also, our licensed professional teacher now used to be our student. Ma'am Roselia Ocampo, again, thank you for starting a watch party. Good evening, watching from Cagayan de Oro City. First time, hello po. We welcome you to Team Facebook, Ma'am Shera May Saliring. Welcome po si Ma'am Shera or Ma'am Shera, Team Facebook. Sir Regent Ponce or Ma'am Regent Ponce, maraming salamat po for sharing our video. Shout out sa lahat ng mga taga-Pagadian. That's from Ma'am MC Curlex Quinones. Mamaulana, Dalidigan Ramla, thank you for starting a watch party. Okay, now what's your answer for number 5? Some of you are answering letter C. Okay, karamihan letter C. Now, watching from the PBB house, Mamaylin Pontillas. All right, now, of course, the correct answer here for number 5 is letter C. Alliteration, that's the correct answer. The repetition of consonants in a group of words. Okay, so alliteration is the correct answer. Now, rhyme and rhythm natin, almost the same, no? Rhythm and rhyme. Of course, ito ay yung himig sa inyong tula, ano, paghihimig sa inyong tula. Onomatopoeia, of course, this is a type of figures of speech where we use the sound words for a certain word. No, we use the sounds. For example, you say the buzzing bees. Okay, the buzzing bees. Or you say the rustling leaves, the creaking door. Okay, so that's onomatopoeia, paghihimig or paghimig sa Filipino. Again, please do watch our figures of speech na video. Nasa YouTube channel po yan. I think it's also found on our Facebook page. So just try to check it. Just try to find our figures of speech with examples, and of course, with translations in Filipino. Okay, so number 5, that's letter C. We go to number 6. The character who contrasts with another character in a story is A or an, letter A, villain, letter B, foil, letter C, antagonist, or letter D, support. What's your answer for number 6? Good evening, watching from the Nagat Islands. Mamiani Kunahap. Good evening po. Ma'am Eka Santa Cruz, thank you po for starting a watch party. Hello to my good friend Ma'am Tahine Ramos. She's watching. She says she's also answering with you. Sir Kim J. Ensho, mag-shoutout naman kayo. Welcome you, Sir Kim J. Oh, he's watching with all of you. He's our math majorship coach. Hello, Sir Kim J. He's watching on Facebook. Good evening, Sir Kim. Shout out sa mga taga Palawan, Ma'am Emmy Velarde. Shout out dito sa Cagayan de Oro College, FINMA, Ma'am Jean Mary Bohos, Austria. Good evening sa lahat watching from Recodo, Zamboanga City. First time, Ma'am Jamila, hello po and welcome sa Team Facebook. And ganun din si Sir J. Dinglasa Mahawan, hello po. And welcome sa Team Facebook. Marami tayong first-timers ngayon sa Team Facebook. We welcome all of you. Now, for number 6, your question here, the character who contrasts with another character in a story is called letter A or an, a villain, letter B, foil, letter C, antagonist, or letter D, support. The correct answer here, of course, would be, what's your answer, Team YouTube? Letter C yung answer nyo. Karamihan letter C, genocide kaya yung mangyayari? The correct answer here would be letter B. That's foil. Foil is the correct answer for number 6, not your antagonist. It is letter B, foil. Okay, let's take a look at our next slide. Now, these are some of the main characters that you find in your stories. You have your protagonist. Of course, that's the main character. That's the important character. So if you are thinking of your provinciano, your protagonist can be Cardo. Okay, so that's a protagonist. Antagonist, of course, that's a primary adversary of your protagonist, yung pinakakalaban ng iyong bida. So that's the kontrabida. And of course, if you're thinking of Cardo, sino na ba ngayon yung pinaka kontrabida sa ang probinsyano? No? Hindi na kasi ako nanonood. Before, there was Alakdan. No? Hindi ko alam kung sino na ngayon yung pinaka-kontrabida sa probinsyano. And of course, your protagonist, that's the main character. Antagonist, that would be your kontrabida. Yung foil mo naman, this is a character who provides contrast to another character. Okay, so that's the term, or that's the meaning of the term foil in your characters in a story. And so the answer would be foil. Foil po yung tamang sagot. Okay, now we move on. Number 7. The adjective that expresses the supreme value of the noun, like the capitalized phrase in the sentence, English is the most interesting subject for Liza or Liza, is called letter A, possessive adjective, letter B, predictive adjective, letter C, demonstrative adjective, or letter D, superlative adjective. What's your answer for question number 7? Sir John Wick, again, ako po si Ma'am Mac, M-E-C. Si Migs po ay si Sir Migs, my husband. Good evening, watching from Pangasinan, Sir Delson de la Cruz. Ma'am Jeneline de la Cruz, thank you po for starting a watch party. Watching from Malasique, Pangasinan, Sir Valentin Season. Good evening from Cebu, Sir Markil Hiangan. Good evening po. Again, good evening. And we'd like to welcome, of course, our first-timers. Good evening from Capoocan, Leyte, Sir Igano Kaloy. Ito, first-timer din, si Ma'am Alisa Irabagon from Team Facebook. Maraming salamat po. Maraming first-timers ngayon sa Team Facebook. Elgen Purisima, thank you po for starting a watch party. The correct answer here, of course, would be letter D. That's superlative adjective. Okay, superlative adjective is the correct answer for question number 7. Now, let's take a look at the different types of adjective that we have. Again, when you say adjectives, of course, these are words that would describe your noun or your pronoun. Okay, so you have one part, that's the most common description that we have for your adjective. That's your descriptive adjective, no? Good, little, big, new, old. Okay, now quantitative, this of course would show the numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, first, second, last, those are your quantitative adjectives. You also have your demonstrative adjective, this, that, these, and those. Possessive adjective, my, his, our, your, their. These are all possessive adjectives. Interrogative adjectives mo, which, what, whose. So these are the things that we use in our questions. Distributive adjective, each, every, neither, either, or any. Okay, so these are some different types of adjectives that you have. Of course, there are also adjectives that we call positive adjective, comparative adjective, and superlative adjective. When you say positive adjective, you only use this when you are talking about one thing, one person, one event. So you can say beautiful, big, black, bright, all the descriptive adjectives that you have. Now, your comparative adjective, of course, you use this when you are comparing two persons or two people, two places, two events, two objects. So you say more beautiful or bigger, blacker, brighter, cleaner, etc. So again, for your comparative adjective, you use more or you use the ER form. Okay, so that's your comparative adjective. Your superlative adjective naman, of course, you use your most form or the EST. Okay, so those are your superlative adjective. And of course, that's the correct answer. Superlative is the correct answer. So that's letter D, superlative. Now, of course, some common mistakes that we have here is the use of the more better. You don't say more better because better is already the comparative form. So when you say more better, that's being redundant. Okay, that's being repetitive. You don't say more better, you just say better. Okay, so good, good, then better, then best. Okay, so those are your positive, comparative, and superlative. For your bad or evil naman, if your positive adjective is bad or evil, the comparative, of course, will be worse. Worse, that's W-O-R-S-E. And superlative form, of course, is the worst. Okay, the worst, W-O-R-S-T. So those are some examples of your positive, comparative, and superlative adjectives. So, of course, the correct answer would be letter D, superlative. Now, we go to number 8. You have to take care when you critique the work of a Filipino. Your negative comment may be mistaken to be an attack against his or her person. Upon which Filipino trait is this advice based? Is it letter A, adaptability, letter B, sakop mentality, letter C, extreme personalism, letter D, bayanihan spirit? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for number 8? Good evening from Cagayan Valley, Ma'am Haley Thomas or Tomas. Good evening po. First time from Isabela Basilan. Assalamualaikum. First timer natin si Ma'am Norsima J. Arabi. Welcome po sa Team Facebook. Okay, now next. Watching from Pasay City, Ma'am Ruth Templado. Hello po. Ma'am Karen Joy Facun, thank you po for starting a watch party. She has a question here. Just tuned in. Can I have a soft copy of tonight's lesson and even the previous lesson? Again, all the copies, all the materials, you can find that in Grow po. So just become a member of Grow. You can go back to all the materials that we have. It's only 500 pesos. That's a one-time payment until the day that you take the let. Yes, si Ma'am Jeremy Velarde ay sumagot pala kay Ma'am Karen Joy. Nasa Grow po, sabi ni Ma'am Jeremy. Thank you po, Ma'am Jeremy, for answering the question. Ma'am Kim Kaumban Abruguenya, my good friend, also my classmate in UP High School. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. She's watching. Sir Igano Kaloy, thank you for your message. Ma'am Mek, nagpapasalamat po ako sa iyo dahil marami ako natutunan. Thank you po and welcome. Sir Dax Akle, thank you po for sharing or for starting a watch party. Ganon din kay Ma'am Maulana Ramla. Thank you po. Watching from Bicol, Ma'am Chari Tuyay. Okay, now a lot of the people on our team Facebook are answering letter C for number 8. Ma'am Elgin Purisima, thank you for starting a watch party. Hello, Kim. Ga-answer man na. She's also answering with you. Letter C din, sabi ni Ma'am Kim Kaumban Abruguenya. Okay, now, again, you have to take care when you critique the work of a Filipino. Your negative comment may be mistaken to be an attack against his or her person, upon which Filipino trait is this advice based. The correct answer, of course, here would be letter C, extreme personalism. That's the correct answer. Adaptability, this is a very positive characteristic of Filipinos. We are easily able to adapt to different situations, no? So that's a very positive attitude, very positive characteristic of us being Filipinos. We're very flexible. So nakikita nyo nga no, nung nagkaroon ng bagyong Ulysses na baha na yun, no, na salanta na tayo ng baha, tumatawa pa rin yung mga Pinoy. That's our adaptability, our flexibility. Even if you put a Filipino in any situation, we can easily just adapt. Sakop mentality, this is one of the negative attitudes that we have, no? Sakop, sakpa ko anay, no? Or sometimes, please log in for me. Or sometimes, nakasave sa pila, no? I-reserve mo tong spot na to for me. The sakop mentality. Sometimes, it also happens when you have an enemy. Okay, so kahit isa lang yung isang member lang ng family yung kaaway mo, lahat na ng miyembro ng pamilya kaaway mo, pati yung pusa nila, pati yung aso nila, kaaway mo na rin. Bayanihan spirit, of course, this is a very positive attribute of Filipinos. We know this. That means we are always helping each other. Okay, so we can also easily adjust to very bad situations because we are helping each other. That's bayanihan spirit. But of course, here the correct answer is extreme personalism. Masyado nating pinipersonal lahat ng bagay. Pag pinagalitan tayo ng boss natin, sabi natin ayaw talaga sa atin ng boss natin o galit sa atin yung ating boss. That's extreme personalism. Dito sa Amerika, hindi sila ganyan. Once nagalit siya sa'yo dahil sa ginawa mo, after nun, wala na. Okay na kayo ulit. Okay? They don't take it personally. Sometimes it's good, but other times it's also bad because there's no personal connections. If I try to compare working in the Philippines as a teacher or teaching in the Philippines, also working here, teaching here, walang personal connection, walang personal relationships yung mga teachers dito. So, hindi nyo alam kung ilan yung anak niya, saan siya nakatira, bawal, no? Hindi naman bawal, pero it's a little bit awkward to ask them about their personal lives. So, you don't ask them where their husband is working, how old they are, no? So, walang personal connection, walang personal relationships. Okay, so again, but for number 8 here, the answer, of course, be letter C, that's extreme personalism. Now, we go to number 9, who proposed the theory of evolution that is based on natural selection? What's your answer for number 9? Good evening, Ma'am Vem Cristobal on Team YouTube. Maraming salamat. Good evening, Sir Lester Bayoneta, watching with all of you on Team YouTube. Please welcome Sir Lester. He used to be, of course, our student, now a licensed professional teacher. He was under me. He was a bio major Okay, so he has left a comment there. Sir Lester Bayoneta, good evening, Ma'am Mek, Best Review Center. Thank you po, Sir Lester. Okay, what do you think is the answer for number 9? Watching from Bulacan, Sir Michael Reyes, hello po. Watching from Tina, San Miguel, Surigao del Sur, Sir Nelson Cuadra. Ma'am Jenny, thank you po for starting a watch party. Good evening po. Now, many of you are answering letter C dito sa ating team Facebook. Good evening, everyone. That's from Ma'am Marturillas, Jeneline Torres, Legazpi. Thank you po for starting a watch party. Watching from Sibuyan Island, Romblon, Kahidyokan, Romblon, Sir R.D. Canulo. Good evening po. Watching from Capiz, Ma'am Jonaline Constantino. Good evening. Ma'am Lady Lee Maristela, thank you for sharing our video and of course for your positive feedback. She says, hi Ma'am Mek. Thank you po. Dami natututunan watching from Batangas. Maraming salamat po. Okay, now many of you are answering letter C. And of course, that would be the correct answer. Letter C, Charles Darwin is the correct answer for number 9. He proposed a theory of evolution based on natural selection. Now, let's take a look at the next slide. Also, the rest of the people that we have here. Now, this is, of course, Charles Darwin's work, Natural Selection. According to this, he says each species shows variation. So there are different types of characteristics in one species. Now, let me tell you, species here, this is both plural and singular form. So you don't say one species, you don't say one species or one species. You always say one species or several species. So species as a word, it can be both plural and singular. So again, he said, Charles Darwin said, each species here shows variation. So there are different characteristics in one single species. Number 2, there is competition within each species for food, living space, water, and mate. So all the members of one species would be competing against each other. Okay. Number 3, the better adapted members are more likely to survive. This is what you call survival of the fittest. If you are better suited for a certain environment, then of course you are going to survive. Those that are not suited for that kind of environment, of course, they will all die. Now, number 4, these survivors will pass on their better genes to their offspring, who will also show this beneficial variation. So one example here that was given to us by Charles Darwin were the giraffes. So sabi ni Charles Darwin, yung giraffes daw dati, ay hindi naman gano'n kahaba yung neck nila, no? Yung leeg nila ay hindi naman gano'n kahaba. Pero because of their diet, because they need to reach to the upper branches of trees para kumain nga ng leaves, eventually, this has become a characteristic that has been passed on from generation to generation of giraffes. And so the modern-day giraffes that we see now all have long necks. Okay, so this is number 4, no? Sabi dito na number 4, these survivors will pass on their better genes to their offspring, to their children, who will also show this beneficial variation. So whatever benefits them, that would be passed on from one generation to another. That's the theory of natural selection. That's, of course, by Charles Darwin. He is known as the father of evolution. He was the one who said that we all came from apes. Okay? So sabi ni Charles Darwin, nanggaling tayong lahat sa apes. Okay? Pakikuha nga ng mirror, i-check nyo nga, totoo ba? Do you all agree with Charles Darwin na nanggaling tayong lahat sa apes? No, he was the one who said that. That's according to Charles Darwin, his theory of evolution, the theory of natural selection. He's the father of evolution. Now, the rest of the people there, we have Watson. Watson is one of the people in a duo. We call this Watson and Crick. And they were the ones who gave us the shape, the structure of your DNA molecule. Okay, so sabi ni Watson and Crick, your DNA molecule has 2 strands. It's structure that is a double helix. So ito yung structure ng ating DNA molecule, which we have all studied in biology. And this was given to us by Watson and Crick. Now, ito naman, of course, your lolo, Dmitry Mendeleev, a Russian chemist, of course, is known as the father of the modern periodic table. That's Dmitry Mendeleev. one of the choices that we also had. And of course, the last choice that we had there was Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most famous scientists that we have. He was also a mathematician. He was a physicist. He was also one of the proponents of calculus. Okay, so kasama din siya sa math. Now, one of the proponents of calculus is Sir Isaac Newton, very good scientist, very famous physicist. He has given us the law of universal gravitation. So theory has it na nahulugan siya ng apple sa ulo, kaya siya napaisip and kaya siya nag-come up with the theory of universal gravitation. Kaya he has come up with the concept of gravity. That's Sir Isaac Newton. And of course, he has also given us the 3 laws of motion. Okay, so Newton's first law of motion, which is called the law of inertia. The second law of motion is the law of acceleration. Of course, the third law of motion is called the action-reaction or the law of interaction. Okay, I'm going to find a chance to try to look for an item in the LET with regards to this so that I can discuss this with you next time. Okay, so maghahanap ako ng material ng LET item, previous LET item. As you know, these items that we are discussing are from the previous feedback that we have from our students. Okay, so this is Sir Isaac Newton, very smart, very famous physicist and scientist. Even Einstein said Sir Isaac Newton is one of the smartest people that have ever lived. Okay, but some interesting facts about Sir Isaac Newton: he had the same name as his father. His father was a farmer, and his mom also wanted him to become a farmer. But of course, he was very smart. He was very inquisitive, and so he studied in a university, and he became a very popular scientist. Now, another thing that we learned about Sir Isaac Newton is that he has never been kissed, never been touched, died a virgin. Because of course, all he did was study. He did not have any love life. So that means hindi din po pwede na wala kayong love life. So kahit na nagre-review kayo with Gurong Pinoy, dapat meron pa din kayong love life. Dahil nga sabi nila, once nagka-LPT ka na and once you start teaching, you are already married to your career, mahirapan ka na maghanap. So, dapat before passing the LET, no, meron na kayong love life, meron na kayong boyfriend sa ngayon, para naman meron kayong inspiration. Okay, so again, that would be Sir Isaac Newton, but of course, the correct answer that we have for the theory of natural selection is Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. Now we go to number 10. Dengue is an infectious disease transmitted by an organism classified under which phylum? Is it letter A, Cnidaria, letter B, Mollusca, letter C, Echinodermata, or letter D, Arthropoda? Sir Hiner Laguardia, our good friend, hello. Good afternoon. He's watching in in Saudi Arabia. Okay. Now, a lot of you are answering letter D dito sa Team YouTube. Okay, so letter D, karamihang sagot dito sa Team YouTube. Dito naman sa Team Facebook, ganun din. Karamihan sa inyo, your answer is letter D. Hello to my Tita Gina Magluyan. Thank you for tagging some people. Good evening, Tita. Pasko ako. Ma'am Princess Shaira Abelia, thank you for sharing our video and for starting a watch party. Thank you po. All right, now we go back to number 10. Dengue is an infectious disease transmitted by an organism classified under which phylum? Oh, wala daw love life si Ma'am Ofelia Samson from Team YouTube. Good afternoon, watching from Abu Dhabi, UAE. Oh, tama daw. Sabi ni Sir Lester, dapat may love life bago mag-LPT. Sir Lester can attest that in Study Link Gurong Pinoy My Forever, dahil nagka-girlfriend yata si Sir Lester sa Study Link, no? When he was having his review with us. Kumusta na ka mo, Sir Lester? Okay, now number 10, again, dengue is an infectious disease transmitted by an organism classified under which phylum? The correct answer here, of course, would be letter D, Arthropoda. Arthropoda is the correct answer for number 10. Now let's take a look at the next slide that we have. Of course, we know that the vector, the transmitter of dengue are your Aedes mosquitoes. Okay, so there are two species there, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. Both of these are transmitters or vectors of dengue. And of course, these are mosquitoes, part of your insects. And so we know that they are part of your letter D, Arthropoda. Now, arthropodas, of course, some of their very important characteristics is that they have jointed appendages. So jointed yung legs nila, no? You can see the different parts of their legs here. And of course, they also have three parts. Their body is divided into three parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Now, as I have mentioned before, your arthropods, Arthropoda, this is the largest group of animals that we have. So, in here, you have your crustaceans. Kasama po dyan yung crustaceans nyo, yung lobsters, yung shrimps, yung crabs nyo. Kasama din, of course, your insects, your dragonfly, your firefly, your butterflies, your mosquitoes. Kasama po siya sa ating arthropods. And kasama din yung inyong mga arachnids. Arachnids mo, these are the spiders. Okay, so these are some of the members of your arthropods. And so we know na your arthropods, this is the largest group of animals that we have. Now, yung phylum Cnidaria mo naman, your members here are the hydra, jellyfish, coral, and sea anemone. You pronounce this as a sea anemone, hindi po sea anemones. It's not sea anemones, but it's sea anemone. And these are the members of your phylum Cnidaria. We have discussed a bit of this in our previous live stream dahil sinabi natin, yung phylum Cnidaria mo, especially the jellyfish, has your nematocyst, yung sabi nating stinging cells. No? May stinging cells siya, may cnidocytes siya, and of course, the barb-like structure there in your cnidocytes, you'd call that your nematocyst. So these are the members of your phylum Cnidaria. Phylum Mollusca naman, you have your snail, your meron din tayo ditong bivalve. So kasama din dito yung bivalve mo. Yung mga shells mo are part of phylum Mollusca. Meron kang gastropods. Your snails are examples of gastropods. Meron ka ding mga cephalopods. Your squids are examples of your cephalopods. Okay, so that's phylum Mollusca. And of course, the last phylum that you had there was phylum Echinodermata. These are the organisms that have spiny skin. So some examples for this would be your starfish, your sand dollar, your sea cucumber, your sea urchin. So these are some examples of phylum Echinodermata. So again, these are of course part of your bio majorship, and those people who have bio majorship, enroll na po kayo sa GROW because I will be taking care of your majorship. I got you, as we have mentioned in Facebook's in Gurongpinoy on Facebook. All my bio students have always been 100% passers. So wala pa po tayong nafi-fail na bio major. So do not be the first. Again, if you are a bio major, mag-enroll na po kayo. That's only 1,000 pesos. If you want to also be a member of GROW, Gen Ed, and Profit, that's 1,250 all in one promo. All in na po yan. Okay, so the correct answer, of course, there was arthropods. Now we go to number 11. Polysaccharides, triglycerides, polypeptides, and nucleic acids are classified as what? What's your answer for question number 11? Oh, sabi ni Sir Lester Bayoneta dito, kami pa man ma'am. Okay, so he said they're still together. Stay strong. Salamat, Study Link. For those of you who are first timers, we used to be called Study Link. We used to have a physical review center in Iloilo City. Okay, so hanggang ngayon sila pa rin. Sabi ko nga sa inyo sa Gurong Pinoy, Study Link Gurong Pinoy, my forever. Okay, so sila pa rin ang kanyang girlfriend. And of course, both of them are licensed professional teachers, both StudyLink Gurong Pinoy students, and both LPTs because of studying, because of reviewing in StudyLink Gurong Pinoy. Okay, so malay nyo, kayo na yung next. Ma'am Tin. Kumusta naman, Ma'am Tin? Kayo pa rin ba? Okay, now... Good evening sa lahat. Super late, hina ng signal. That's from Ma'am Rosel Ramos. What's your answer for question number 11? Okay, again, we're looking for the answer here for number 11. Sana all may forever, sabi ni Ma'am RV Joy Tulod. Kasal na lang daw yung kulang kay Ma'am Tin, no? Sabi ni Mr. President on YouTube. Okay, now C. Many of you are answering letter C on Team Facebook, sa Team Facebook. Sir Michael Reyes has a question. Sino yung father of modern psychology? Si Wundt po. Wundt. W-U-N-D-T. Okay, that's the father of modern psychology. Watching from Pangasinan, good evening, Sir Francis Aquino. Okay, number 11, again, polysaccharides, triglycerides, polypeptides, and nucleic acids are classified as letter A, mixtures, letter B, compounds, letter C, macromolecules, or letter D, acids and bases. The correct answer here, of course, would be letter C, macromolecules. That's the correct answer. Now, these are the different macromolecules that we have in our body. Sometimes these are also called biomolecules because these are the molecules that support life. These are the molecules that keep us all alive. You have your nucleic acid, your carbohydrate, your lipid, your protein. Now, I have a video on this. I have still not posted that video. So, I will be posting that video because, of course, lumalabas din po ito sa lab. Okay, so abangan nyo po yan. I will be posting a video on the different biomolecules that we have. But, of course, the answer that we have there is letter C, macromolecules. Now, we go to number 12. Which among the following is the only method of contraception that has 100% success rate? Okay, what do you think is the answer? Abstinence, withdrawal, injectable contraceptives, or daily oral contraceptive pills? What's the answer for question number 12? Ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 12? Good evening sa lahat ng Gurong Pinoy, especially Ma'am Mek, that's coming from Ma'am Nahira Donghin. Good evening po. Okay, si Sir Hener Laguardia dito nagsabi, during review, Sir Ramil, swerte nyo po. Okay, so Sir Hener Laguardia is a good friend of ours. I think I've already mentioned this before that my husband and I, Sir Meeks and I, we also met in a review center. We were also classmates in a review center. Okay, so sabi ni Sir Hener Laguardia, wag po makipag-sex 100% walang buntis. Yung ginawa ni Newton, sabi ni Sir Bold Storiaga. Thank you for starting a watch party, sir. Okay, of course, the correct answer here, 100% success rate as form of contraception would be letter A, abstinence. Okay, so not having sex, that's the most reliable way or method of contraception. Not withdrawal, not injectable contraceptives, no? Meron ding daily oral contraceptives. Minsan kasi nakakalimutan. Of course, not having sex is 100%. You are going to be sure that you're not going to be pregnant. Okay, so isa lamang yung alam nating naging pregnant without having sex. Of course, that's the Virgin Mary. That's why we call her the Virgin Mary. Okay, so because of the Holy Spirit lang, no, kaya nagkaroon siya ng baby Jesus in her womb. Okay, so abstinence is the correct answer. That's letter A. Now we go to number 13. Studies show that there are parts of the body that have lost their usefulness and which may later disappear. What are these organs called? What is the term you use for this? Is it letter A, residual, letter B, extinct, letter C, fossilized, or letter D, vestigial? What's the correct answer? Watching from Sultan Kudarat, Ma'am Gingging Etnerol, good evening po. Unang beses manood ng live. Hello po, Ma'am Anastasia. Paki-welcome kay Ma'am Anastasia. She's watching with Team Facebook. Ma'am Jeveline, David, Dino, thank you po for starting a watch party. Okay, good evening sa mga medyo na late. Habol po tayo. Of course, you can still go back to this video later. And kaya lang masaya kasi pag live stream, no? May mga kantsawan. Yung team Facebook natin humahabol na rin sa ating team YouTube. Medyo marunong na rin silang mag-joke. Dati kasi napaka-seryoso nitong ating team Facebook. Okay, 13 studies show that there are parts of the body that have lost their usefulness and which may later disappear. What are these organs called? The correct answer, of course, would be letter D, vestigial organ. Okay, correct answer would be vestigial organ. Vestigial po yung ating term na ginagamit. So some examples of vestigial organs that we have are your coccyx. I used to pronounce this cocci, no? Yung C-O-C-C-Y-X, yung pigtot natin. Di ko alam kung anong tawag dito in Tagalog, in Filipino. But this is your coccyx, and this should have been the tails nga daw. Galing siya sa tails ng animals. Of course, we're not using tails. And so in our case, it has just become your an example of your vestigial organ. Another example of your vestigial organ, of course, is your appendix. Okay, so appendix siya. Wala na siya masyadong maraming gamit as humans, no? Sa vestigial organ na lamang siya. And of course, here, you also have your wisdom teeth. Your wisdom teeth are also an example of your vestigial organ. Those organs that have lost their usefulness and eventually daw ay mawawala na. Okay, so these are your vestigial organs. Vestigial is the correct answer. That's letter D. Now we go to number 14. What do you call the small hair-like structures which line the inside wall of the small intestine and which greatly assist in the speeding up of food absorption? Letter A, villi. Letter B, cilia. Letter C, duodenum. Or letter D, alveoli. Watching from Oman. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Zaira. Was it Ma'am Zaira yata? Ma'am Zaira Bidiones. Hello po sa inyong lahat, mga minamahal kong kaguro. Watching from Davao City, Ma'am Faidsa Bantas. Welcome sa lahat. Learn and enjoy the night with learnings from Ma'am Mek. That's coming from Sir James Auman. Maraming salamat po. Ma'am Linlin Elidia. Good evening. Watching from Surigao del Sur. Welcome sa ating mga first-timers, sabi ni Ma'am Jeremy Velarde. Good evening, watching from Isabela, Ma'am Jennifer Domingo Galanza. Ma'am Maulana Dalidigan Ramla, again, thank you for starting a watch party. Okay, so sabi ni Ma'am Karen Tisado kay Ma'am Anastasia, welcome ma'am, balikan nyo na lang po sa YT, sa YouTube, yung di nyo naabutan. Again, next weekend po ay exclusive sa ating Grow members, ang ating mid-review. And so if you are not in Grow yet, kung wala pa po kayo sa Grow, and if you want to become a member, that's only 500 pesos, you still have time so that you can take the mid-review. And of course, we have our prizes in our review, in our mid review. Kung hindi naman po kayo makakapag for the membership for Grow, balikan niyo po lahat ng mga live streams natin, ng discussion natin sa YouTube. Meron na tayong almost 60 videos of live streams, and meron din po tayong playlist for general education and professional education. So balikan niyo po yung lahat. Thank you for starting a watch party. There is one teacher here, but I cannot read your name. Arabic po yung name niya. So hello po, and thank you for starting a watch party. Okay, now what do you call the small hair-like structures which line the inside wall of the small intestine and which greatly assist in the speeding up of food absorption? Of course, the correct answer here would be letter A. That's your villi. Villi. Villi is plural. Your singular form for this would be villus. Yes, first-timer daw pala, yung Arabic yung name niya. Hello po, ma'am. Hindi ko po kasi mabasa yung Arabic. Okay, so she's also a first-timer. Welcome po. Now, these are your villi. So these are some of the villi that you can find in your small intestine. Of course, the function of this, the uses of this would be, its use is for more absorption of nutrients. No? So ini-increase niya yung surface area ng ating small intestine. This can be found not only in your small intestine, meron din pong villi sa ating stomach. Okay, so again, that's for absorption of food. That's the function of this. Now, ito naman yung ibang choices natin. Yung alveoli mo, these are also called the air sacs. Okay, so air sacs itong alveoli mo. These are the end parts of your lungs. Nandyan, no, sa bronchioles ng lungs mo. Nasa last part na ng bronchioles ng lungs mo. And these are also called your alveoli nga. These are also called your air sacs. And this is where the exchange of gas would happen. Okay, so that's your alveoli. Yung duodenum mo, this is the first part of your small intestine that is right after the stomach. So that's your duodenum. There are three parts of your small intestine: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So yung duodenum mo, that's the first part, the first segment of your small intestine, of course, right after the stomach. Okay, now you need to remember that digestion starts in your mouth. So yung digestion po, it starts in your mouth. The only type of food that we can digest in the mouth, of course, that would be your carbohydrate. Kaya meron tayong salivary amylase or tyline na nasa mouth natin. That's the part of the body where digestion starts. That's your mouth. And digestion would be completed in your small intestine. Okay, so the last part of your digestive tract that has digestion or that would perform digestion would be your small intestine. Wala na pong digestion sa ating large intestine. The function of your large intestine is for absorption of water. Okay? Absorption of water. Lumalabas po yan sa let. Okay? The function of your large intestine is not for digestion but for absorption of water. Now, yung cilia mo naman, we have two types of cilia. Yung cilia mo dito, the first one, that's the cilia that you find in your paramecium, yung cilia that we find in the protists. Yung protists po, these are the organisms that we find in the canal, yung mga organisms that we find in murky water, so mga dirty water natin, yung mga pitik-pitik, no? Yung mga nakikita natin sa ating canal, these are your ciliates. Meron din tayong mga flagellates doon. Yung hair-like structure nila that would help them to move, these are called the cilia. Now, commonly, yung sinasabi nating cilia sa ilong, no? Cilia sa ilong ng tao or sometimes sa animals, the scientific term for this would be vibrissae. Vibrissae po yung tawag dyan. Hindi po siya commonly or hindi siya scientifically called your cilia, but that is called your vibrissae. So, yan yung nakikita mo sa ilong mo, no? Nasa loob ng ilong na hair-like structures. That would be your vibrissae, and in animals, this would be called whiskers. So, yung mahahabang buhok na, no, malapit sa ilong nasa cheek ng ating or nasa face section ng ating animals, that would be your whiskers. So actually whiskers are also vibrissae. Okay, so vibrissae po yung tamang term for our hairs inside the nose. Okay, but of course the correct answer that we have there would be villi. Now we go to question number 15. A society cannot exist without a government. Which word is synonymous with government? What do you think is the answer for number 15? Okay, good evening po. Shout out sa lahat ng mga taga-Oriental Mindoro. That's from Ma'am Crisel D. Chavez. Okay. Alright, now number 15, letter B, yung karamihang sagot ng ating team YouTube. Here sa ating team Facebook. Hello, good evening po, Ma'am Josephine Bailon. Magandang gabi po. Letter B din, karamihan ng sagot dito sa ating team Facebook. And that would be the correct answer. Authority. One synonym for the term government, of course, is letter B. That's authority, not restraint, not check and balance, not domination. Okay, so authority is the correct answer for question number 15. We go to the next question. This is category math. What are the prime factors of 120? What's your answer for number 16? Ano po yung sagot nyo sa number 16? Again, if you haven't liked our video yet on YouTube, go ahead and please do like our video. If you haven't reacted to our video yet, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends on Facebook. Good evening, watching from Bulacan, Ma'am Janice DM. Good evening po. Sir Chris J. Angulo, maraming salamat po for starting a watch party. Okay, Team Facebook is answering letter C. Karamihan sa Team Facebook natin, letter C. Letter C din sa ating Team YouTube. And of course, that would be the correct answer. Letter C is the correct answer here. Again, we're looking for prime factors. You all know that when you say prime number, this is the number or this is a type of number whose factors are just 1 and itself. Okay, so yung factor niya, 1 and itself. Wala na siyang other factors. Wala nang ibang number na po pwede kang gamitin na i-multiply para makakuha ka ng ganung number as your product. Okay, so again, when you say prime factors or prime numbers, these are numbers whose factors are just 1 and itself. Now, looking at your choices here, you don't really need to solve, okay? You don't really need to solve. You just need to take a look at your choices. Alam mo na letter C yung tamang sagot because 4 here is not a prime number, okay? 4 is not a prime number. So this one also cannot be your answer. If you try to check letter A and letter B, the same lang po yung numbers dyan. In which lang yung 4 and 3. So these cannot be your answer. And of course, letter D mo, meron ka ding 6, and 6 is also not a prime number. Okay? So, the correct answer, of course, would be letter C. Kahit na tingnan mo lang, alam mo na letter C yung sagot mo. Alright, number 7 or number 17. If you lift one load up to 2 stories, how much work did you do compared to lifting one load up only 1 story? Is it letter A, half as much, letter B, the same amount, letter C, 4 times as much, or letter D, twice as much? What's your answer for number 17? We're almost done. Good evening from Pampanga, Ma'am Pearl Stephanie Santiago. Hello po. Watching from Masbate, hello po, Ma'am Gemma Arinavo. Watching from Cebu City, Ma'am Jelly Villacorta. Ma'am Jevelyn David Dino, I think I've already read this today, no? A while ago. Maraming salamat po again for starting a watch party. Good evening from Ramos Tarlac, Ma'am Lourdes de Guzman Castor. Hello po. Hello sa ating mga first-timers. I know marami ating first-timers sa Facebook. Ganon din sa ating Team YouTube. Hello po, balik po kayo. Again, we do live streams at 7:30 p.m. That's Philippine time, Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays po, we discuss general education. And of course, Sundays, we discuss professional education. These are the items that our students, ang ating mga parokyano po ay nakapagsagot na ito through our quizzes. We have our Google Classroom for Gen Ed and Prof Ed. So if this is your first time to watch us, right after this, balikan nyo po yung ating video or you can go to our Facebook page, that's Gurongpinoy. Iba-iba yung inyong mga sagot, Ma'am Mek. Pamain po ako sa Christmas tree sa likod mo. That's from Ma'am Maylene Pontilla. So wala yata yung ka-love team ni Ma'am Maylene ngayon. Sir Mark, absent. Okay, so number 17, the correct answer here, of course, would be letter D. That's twice as much. Okay, so letter D, twice as much, is the correct answer. Now, sabi dito, you lift one load up to 2 stories. So, kino-compare mo yung lifting the load to 2 stories as compared to lifting the load in just 1 story. By 1 story, we mean 1 floor. Okay, so twice as much is the correct answer. And this, of course, is our formula for work. Work in physics, that's force times distance. So force applied times the distance traveled. The unit for this would be Newton meter, or we also use the term or the unit joules. Joules, that's capital letter J. Okay, so again, for that one, the correct answer is letter D. Now, before I forget, for our first timers, yung atin po palang schedule for next weekend is wala po tayong magiging schedule for all of you who are not GROW members, dahil exclusive po for our GROW members yung ating mid-review exam, dahil magkakaroon po tayo ng mid-review exam natin next weekend. So that's only for our GROW members. The materials are going to be posted in GROW. So again, if you have a chance to become a member of GROW, ay magpag-GROW na po kayo. Yes, sabi ni Ma'am Josephine Bailon, may online po Jan until March? Yes po, ma'am. Ma'am Josephine, balikan niyo po kung paano kayo magiging member ng Grow later. Now again, for the first timers, if you are still not a member of Grow, ay wala po tayong magiging live stream next weekend dahil magkakaroon po tayo ng mid-review examination which is exclusive for our Grow members. Okay? So if you can just become a member of Grow, it's only 500 pesos na one-time payment po. Now, another thing that of course I'd like to mention to our first timers, meron po tayong magiging Christmas party. So there's going to be competition. You are going to be formed in groups. And of course, there's going to be prizes. So mag-join po kayo sa ating Christmas party. How you can join? You can go to our Facebook page later and just type join sa ating pong post doon about our Christmas party. Okay? Again, the last time for you to join is I think I have posted there December 4, but I will give you a chance to join until tomorrow. Okay, so until tomorrow, 7 a.m., I will be checking. So only those who have mentioned join in our Christmas party can be placed in groups and, of course, can join in our contest and can also have a chance to win our raffle promo in our raffle draw. Okay, so again, that's for our Christmas party. Now we go to number 18. We are almost done with our agenda discussion. Number 18 here, a 10 feet long water pipe was cut into two with the shorter pipe measuring 2.5 feet. Find the ratio of the smaller part to the larger part. What's your answer for number 18? Finding Sir Mark Toledo, sabi ni Ma'am Maylene Pontillas. Oh, na-late si Sir Pins. Roland Dalumbar, na-late si Sir. Okay, now going back to question number 18 natin dito, this is a math question. A 10 feet long water pipe was cut into two with the shorter pipe measuring 2.5 feet. Find the ratio of the smaller part to the larger part. Now, the correct answer here, of course, would be letter B, 1:3. Okay, so 1:3 is the correct answer here. That's letter B. Now, let's take a look at your computation. A 10 feet long water pipe was cut into two with a shorter pipe measuring 2.5 feet. Find the ratio of the smaller part to the larger part. So, for example, we have this pipe here that you see on your screen, and we cut this into two, of course. Now, sabi ng ating question dyan, the smaller pipe now measures 2.5 feet. So, that means the longer pipe now measures 7.5 feet. Bakit naging 7.5 feet? Because of course, the total length is 10 feet. Okay? So kung 2.5 na tong shorter part mo, that means you need to add 7.5 here to get the total length originally of your original pipe prior to cutting it, which is 10 feet. Okay? So 7.5 feet, itong ating longer pipe. Now, for us to get the ratio, of course, ang sabi natin dito, the ratio is the smaller part to the larger part. So that means that's 2.5 is to 7.5, no? So that will be 2.5 is to 7.5. Now, for us to write this in its simplest form, we need to divide both our numerator and denominator by the GCF. Now, we know that both of them is divisible, or both of them are divisible by 2.5. And so we do that. We divide 2.5 by 2.5. We get an answer of 1. And we divide 7.5 by 2.5 and we get an answer of 3. And so the correct answer would be 1:3. Okay, 1:3 is the correct answer for that question. And so yung mga nag-answer ng 1:3, that would be the correct answer. Now we go to the second to the last question that we have here. Lorna is packing her things. She needs a box which can hold 75 cubic inches. Which of the following dimensions of a box could fit her need? Now you are given the different dimensions there. You know that your volume, the volume of your regular solids, for example, the box here, the formula for your volume is just length times width times height. You are given the different dimensions there. So all you need to do is to multiply those dimensions. What's your answer for number 19? All right. Now, a lot of you are answering letter D. Ganun din dito sa ating Team YouTube. Karamihan your answer is letter D. And of course, that would be the correct answer. Okay? All you need to do is to multiply 3 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5, of course, that's 25. 25 times 3, we know that that would be equal to 75. So that is the correct answer. Okay? So 19 again. Correct answer is letter D. Letter D. Now we go to the last question that we have, number 20. A class is composed of 18 boys and 12 girls. In the quiz, the average score of the boys was 85, while of the girls was 88. Find the average score for the entire class. What's your answer for number 20? What's the answer for number 20? A lot of you here are answering letter D, 86.2. Sir Aladdin Kalot on Team YouTube. Maraming salamat po. First timer ni Sir Aladdin. Ma'am Mercy Caldona, magandang gabi. Thank you for a lot of learning. Thank you po. Okay, now number 20, the correct answer here, of course, would be letter D. Tama kayo, no? Tama karamihan. That's letter D, 86.2. Now, let's take a look at our computation here. Sabi dito, you have a class with 18 boys and 12 girls. So, 18 and 12. That means total number of people in your class is 30. Paano naging 30? You add the number of boys, that's 18. Then, the number of girls na 12, that's a total of 30. So, sabi dito in the quiz, the average score of the boys was 85, while the average score of the girls was 88. Now, you are going to find the average score for the entire class. Now, let's take a look at your computation. We have 18 times 85. Saan natin kinuha yung 18 times 85? 18 yung number of boys that we have. There are 18 boys, and we multiply this with or by the average of 85. Dahil sabi dito, ang average score ng boys natin was 85. Then we add this to the number of girls multiplied by their average, which is 88. So 12 girls multiplied by 88. Now we divide this by the total number of people in the class, which is 30. Saan nanggaling yung 30 again? That's from 18 plus 12. Okay, so 18 plus 12, that's a total of 30. Now, as you can see, this is already your equation here. Now, pupwede ka nang simplify dito. If you can see there's 30, there's 18, there's 12. You can simplify this using their GCF of 6. Okay, so 18 divided by 6, that would be 3. 12 divided by 6, that would be 2. Then, of course, 30 divided by 6, that would be 5. Okay, so you can already simplify that so that easier na lang for you to compute. Now, we are left with 3 times 85 plus 2 times 88 divided by 5. Okay, so that's 3 times 85 plus 2 times 88 divided by 5. And so we have 255. That's 3 times 85 equals 255. 2 times 88, that's equal to 176 all over 5. Okay, now 255 added to 176, the total will be 431, and we divide this by 5. The correct answer is 86.2. And so the correct answer there would be letter D. That's 86.2. All right. So thank you so much for all those people who are already saying thank you. Salamat. Thank you. Good night. Huwag kalimutan maghanap ng love life bago magka-LPT. Dahil meron ka na talaga sa career mo niyan once you start working as a teacher. That's coming from Ma'am MC Kerlex Quinones of Team Facebook. Thank you. So that ends tonight's live stream. Tonight's live